Hey guys, Derek and Sally here, and we are the owners of Auto Rehab. We have owned our own shop for 7 years, and Derek has been in the automotive industry for 15 plus years. With all our experience, we are spilling all the industry secrets of the automotive industry to you every single Wednesday. Last week in Brakes Part 1, we covered squealing brakes and the difference between a disc brake and a drum brake. This week in Part 2, we are covering warped rotors. Warped rotors is something that is so overlooked, and a lot of times when you start to experience it, you don't really know that that's what's wrong with your vehicle. So a lot of people actually decide to trade their vehicle in because they assume their car is too far gone. But in reality, all they really need could be a rotor replacement. There's a lot of reasons why your car may shake. One of those reasons is warped rotor. So if you start braking and you notice shaking or your car feels kind of loose, this could be an easy diagnosis for you. Today, Derek's actually going to walk us through a proper brake rotor replacement. He's also going to cover the correct installation process as we're doing this. So you guys are in for a real treat.
Today we're covering the warped brakes. We wanted to have a little hands-on, kind of show you what it is so you can get an understanding. Here we have an example of a disc brake, a disc rotor, and the brake pads. So this vehicle is exhibiting a shake. When you hit the brakes, you're coming to a stop, it kind of pulsates at you. And here we wanted to show you what it is. So if you come over here, the dark spot that is right through here, this is a high spot where the metal has warped and become thicker than the normal part. So every time the rotor comes around, you're feeling this bump. That's why there's so much heat. That's what changes the color right here. So this is our main problem. This vehicle actually has good brake pads, but because the rotor is warped, the brakes feel very terrible. So we're gonna show you a quick brake job and what's entailed in doing it. To start off, we're gonna pull the brake caliper off. This caliper is the portion that squeezes against the pads, and that's what creates that friction on the rotor. So we're going to pull these off. So in taking this caliper off, this pin slid out nicely, which is a good thing. This one is incredibly dry, and I actually had to hammer it out. So there's no longer lubrication on here. What that will do is not allow this caliper to move back and forth, so it'll end up wearing one brake pad down more than the other. This is an example of a seized pin. Now we pull the caliper off, and here are your brake pads. These are pretty decent pads, but even though they're decent, since we're putting a new rotor on, we don't want to put the old pad on a new rotor because it can cause it to re-warp. These have decent thickness, meaning these are good pads, but pads can create a memory against a rotor. And since I have a new rotor that I don't want to re-warp, I'm gonna go ahead and put new pads on this new rotor. We have to remove this caliper bracket in order to get the rotor off. Behind here, we break these loose.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So here's your caliper bracket. These sliders have little divots in them. These have been worn from the pads wearing against it. We always want to replace these when we do new brakes. Finally, down to the rotor. A little jerk and it comes right off. This rotor, as you can see, has that warp spot right through there, and the bottom is normal. This is why we're replacing these. This is what causes that terrible feeling. So here we have our new rotor. The first thing when we get rotors is to make sure and compare two things. One, the height. Secondly, the diameter. These look correct, so I will open them. Now a brake rotor shifts with an oil or a grease on it, and it's to prevent it from rusting when humidity changes. This oil that you can see in here needs to be cleaned off before installing it. Step that sometimes people will forget when they do brakes on their own. This grease or oil, to prevent it from rusting, can cause buildup on the pads and cause you to have very odd brake fueling and brake noises. We use brake cleaner to clean it and wipe it off so that there's no grease or oil on the surface. We flip it over and do the same on both sides, so the oil and the grease are not on the brake surface.
Hey guys, Sally Tangmola here, and if you like that video, go ahead and push like and subscribe to our channel. Ring that little bell so that you get the notification every Wednesday when we post videos. Go ahead and leave us a comment below. Let us know what you thought. Let us know if you agree, if you don't agree. Let us know. We love honest opinions. Lastly, go follow us on Instagram. Our link is in the description, and we will see you guys next Wednesday.